On this episode of Downright Mindful, we welcome Paul back and we discuss his time spent with his family at a family reunion. He'll also tell us a story about his dog Lucy, how she broke into a stash of dark chocolate chips and coffee grounds. Another thing we're going to do today is we're going to talk about, with it being July 13th, we're going to talk about some notable events in U.S. history on this day, and that'll somehow lead us into talking issues like Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. We'll touch a little bit on George Floyd and somehow even COVID-19. Now, during that, we explore the ideas and the thoughts around debate and dialogue, and it's a lot of fun. So stick with us, and let's get right down to it. That's what I was just about to say. I've got a lens coming in the mail supposedly today. It's going to make it to where I can use this camera because I'm trying to get this iPad it's dead. I've got it plugged in, but it's struggling. I'm trying to get it to come up because I really need, like, you know what I mean? I have some things I want to be able to see.
No, I don't.
Like notes.
I just thought you wanted to see me.
Yeah, I do.
I thought you just eye contact.
Yeah. Speaking of eye contact, how long has it been since we just had a conversation that wasn't a podcast?
It's the summertime, man, so don't shame us.
So, what have you been doing? Like, tell me about last week. You were gone last week. You have a family reunion?
Yep. So I'm married into this family where, they roll 60 deep into one cabin in Pigeon Forge. And they've been doing stuff like this, like at state parks and other places since early 80s. So this isn't something you miss because you don't want to miss it. Like, it's not family obligation. It's pretty cool. Yeah. And Sarah comes from a lot of girl cousins and two sisters, of course. So a lot of fellas have come into this family through the years, and it's been neat to get to know some folks, and man, you just grow friendships through it. So teaching a class this summer at Lee. So Sunday, Monday, I stayed up there. I gave my students an assignment on Monday, so we skipped class. Mm-hmm. And then I knew I had to get back for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But as I was leaving Tuesday morning to get to Tuesday afternoon's class, like, I was 4 minutes away. I was just like, this is stupid. Like, I'm leaving family reunion. Like, you don't leave this place, man. It's an oasis. It's a refuge. And within 45 minutes, I had figured out how to holler at my dog sitter, house sitter, and say, hey, think we can pull this off for the week? She's like, yeah, of course. So I went to class and then just drove right back to Pigeon Forge. Didn't tell anybody. And it was fun walking in the door because I had said bye to everybody. It took me 45 minutes to say bye. And so it was fun to come back. So the plan was to Zoom the next day, and then I'd be back for my final class. Well, yeah, I get to spend the night again. Got the whole morning enjoying family. We went down to the river. It was just a good day. I Zoomed. That went well. A lot of board games, a lot of card games go on at this, and we were playing some knockoff Moana board game. Can't explain it. It was fun. And just go with me on this. Yeah. And I get a call from Holly, and she's like, hey, something's wrong with Lucy. My dog got into coffee grounds and dark chocolate chips. And
that's not good for dogs.
No, it's a killer. So long story short, I did all this to have to leave because Holly did me the favor of getting her to Chattanooga to the dog emergency room. And I drove the 3 hours to Chattanooga from where I was at and had to return home again. So that sucked. She spent a night. I spent lots of money because she's a family member and not just a dog. And but she's all right.
She's good.
Yeah, so she spent 16 hours in the emergency room. Which is like, it's just a dog hospital, man.
Teach me about that. What is dark chocolate? Which one's the worst, dark chocolate or coffee grounds?
Both.
Both are bad. So either one of those.
There's caffeine in both, and caffeine's terrible for the what system? I don't know.
So it's caffeine.
Nervous system. I don't know. The biology of a dog cannot handle it. I didn't want to pay that much money. I'm going to confess that. And I said, what's my options? And I was basically told, your dog's going to get really, really sick or die. And so I was like, all right. So she didn't say as long as I thought. I got refunded on a little bit of my credit card that I had put down because when I saw that number, it was just like, oh, my word.
Yeah.
I still spent a lot of money keeping my dog alive, but she's good now.
So do they just
week.
like monitor and medicate her, or are they pumping
Fluids,
stomachs or
I mean, they're flushing everything out, and then I had to give her medicine for the next 4 days. So come to find out, I mean, yeah, probably about 4 ounces of coffee grounds she had got into, and about a half a bag of dark chocolate chips. There are dog lovers listening right now. They're like, you are the worst pet owner ever.
No, they're not.
But I had these two things.
I've been there before.
In the bottom of a box that I'd brought home from a coffee day at school, left that box in that downstairs room where Holly left her, which is totally fine. Lucy has a couch down there. And like, there was so much stuff. I mean, there were footballs and frisbees and jump ropes and on top of everything else that I brought back from school. And like, Lucy went digging. She went digging. Like, she had to work. And I mean, my dog's not a small dog. She's willing to work.
So is coffee grounds attractive to a dog?
Mine.
Or did you know that before? Or
I mean, I knew that shouldn't be in there, but I wasn't even aware that I mean, I put that box in there. Like,
the reason I say that is because if it is, a dog's going to find coffee grounds.
Well, and dark chocolate chips. I mean, like, it was a bad.
I mean, the smell of coffee
move.
grounds, you can't hide that. You can't mask that.
Yeah, but I mean,
you leave a Labrador of blood, any Labrador blood, and you leave that thing just unattended for a minute, and there's something it wants, it's going to find it.
Yeah, but when I think back, like, that was there. When she gets left in this room, instead of going to the garage, she's on a couch for 3 hours. No big deal. It'd be just like she was in the garage in her fence, right?
Just chilling, yeah.
Well, she's bored. She hadn't been walked for a couple days. That's my job. And when my dog gets bored, she gets into stuff. She loves carbs. I mean, she'll eat a box of donuts. That's happened. She'll eat a whole loaf of bread. I mean, she just finds stuff and eats it. And so
now I've read theories before about Labradors, which Lucy's at least.
She's a golden Labradoodle.
Okay. So she's got some of that blood, and Labradors share a lot of traits with even just golden retrievers. But I've heard that if one's left unattended and they become bored, sometimes they'll find like the spot on the couch where their owner sits, something that smells like their person, and then just destroy it. Not in like a I hate you kind of, but like I'm just seeking affection. I don't know. You ever heard anything like that?
Well, Sarah said she saw somewhere, like, Lucy will go find my dirty socks and just toss them in the air, like she did that rabbit one time in the backyard. My dog has chased so many things in the backyard and never caught anything, but she caught a rabbit one time.
Heck yeah.
She didn't kill it. She just tossed it up in the air over and over and over and over. And that's what she does with my dirty sock, as stupid as that sounds. And Sarah had read somewhere that, like, it's a sign of affection.
Yeah.
Like, that has my nasty scent on it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's me. But I mean, like, Lucy will do whatever Sarah says. Mm-hmm. Lucy doesn't do anything I say.
Really?
But she knows that, like, if I'm putting my shoes on, we're going for a walk. I'm like, no, I mean, not every time I put my shoes on, dog, are we going for a walk. But, like, she's ready because, I mean, there's rarely a night that we don't go take a walk between, late night hours and, I'm that guy in the neighborhood. Yeah. But,
so hang on. If I stand all the Salisvulls in your house in a circle of 50 yards apart and you all start calling for Lucy at the same time, who's Lucy coming to?
If Sarah uses that voice, Sarah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so sure. It's not you, even though you walk and... Does Sarah feed the dog?
We all do.
Okay.
Like everybody. I mean, just...
Yeah.
Anybody fed the dog today? Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I am the walker and she is the... Yeah. But I mean, like, gosh, my dog's had some stuff. Like, we can't do a whole podcast on my dog.
Listen, I'm in this. Don't you dare try to avoid this. I'm in on this.
Do you remember when she had a tumor removed in the spring? Ever tell you that story?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, she had her ear was bleeding, like out of nowhere. We just looked down and like there's blood all over the floor and there's blood on the wall and there's blood on the couch and like she's just laying on the floor.
Like from inside
kind
the
of
ear.
content. Yeah. And we didn't notice it. And then she got up and she kind of shook her ear and it just more blood started splattering. So she had already shook, laid down, got comfortable, I guess, and then shook again. And we were all like, what is going on? Well, she had a tumor that had busted. And is that what she had? Tumor in her ear? Yeah, probably.
I'm just finding out about this.
Anyway, we had to stop the bleeding. And, I mean, here comes Isaac, man.
Was it a cyst or a tumor?
A cyst. There you go. A cyst can bust and bleed.
Buddy, I don't... we're in deep water now. I don't know.
You got me here. This is all your fault. Anyway, I watched my son stop the bleeding twice before we could figure out how to get her somewhere because it was the weekend and our regular vet wasn't open. And but my dog, man, I mean, she's a lot. She's a lot. So I say that. I walk Sarah like she's the alpha dog, but Isaac has this real gentle hand of when stuff happens. We cut her nails too short one time. Here comes Isaac, sits with the dog, gets her calm, fixes things. Yeah. So that's kind of the roots of him going, yeah, I think I want to be a vet.
Huh.
Because he's just stepped into spaces like this and just been him. Man, you don't have any knowledge. You just kind of we're figuring stuff out. Like Sarah or myself will say, all right, now we need to do this. And like, he'll do it. Right. Yeah. Whatever the triage situation calls for.
You know Chad Owenby?
Yeah.
You know Chad's like one of the canine supervisors at the sheriff's.
You've told me that.
Spent a lot of time with dogs in vet offices.
He could answer all your coffee.
Yeah, he could answer. He could answer those questions. He could answer the cyst or tumor. Probably it just hearing his describe. But I brought him up because you need to take Lucy to him every now and then and let him clean her ears. You ever saw a vet or anybody clean a dog's ears?
Yeah, we have to clean her ears now. It's kind of nasty in there.
I've seen him take his finger and put it in a towel, and I would have swore he's going to scoop her brain out there. And he's like, no, you can't reach. And he'll just get that dog and just wring that and clean those ears out. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Chad, come to my house, please.
Yeah,
clean my dog's ears.
It's the awfulest looking thing you ever seen, but it seems to. Yeah. I don't know. I bet there's some relief.
He knows some stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, he knows some stuff about dogs for sure. For sure. He spent a lot of time doing that. Let's hop back to this reunion one more time before we move on.
Okay.
How many people are we talking about up here?
61.
61. Did you say that while I was worried about video and everything? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I apologize for that. I do that sometimes. You know that when we're starting the podcast.
First 8 minutes, you can't hear a word I'm saying.
I struggle. I do. If anybody is into videography, we'll let you come in video so I can listen. But yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Are y'all doing the like teams with T-shirts and playing games like you see on TV, or
No,
nothing like that?
no teams and T-shirts. Now, I did have the one thing I did miss. So we do this like family game night. It's like generations. Like we separate and like, so this all started in 82, 84, something like that. And so Nanny Goose and Papa, they've passed away. But I mean, they just a few years ago. So always there, always present. My kids have known all four of their great-grandparents into their teenage years on Sarah's side. Super cool. Like I never even knew one of my great-grandparents ever.
Yeah.
And barely knew my grandparents. So that's really cool. But from there, 6 kids, and then those 6 kids, bunch of kids, and all those bunch of kids have had a bunch of kids. So these folks right here, like Seth and Abigail and Caleb and Isaac, they're some of the oldest. There's some others, Madeline and Ethan and Brady. You know, they're kind of that same age. But Abigail and Seth, they emceed this year, Caleb last time, but like they just take over and like we play music from different generations and you have to holler out like who the artist was or who the song was or when it came out or whatever. And so it's one of those just magic moments where like, you know, all the young kids are clueless of these 60 tunes that all these older folks are getting super pumped and singing along and even dancing, right? Yeah. And then like the 2020 tunes come on and the older folks are absolutely clueless and don't know who it is or when it came out or, and the younger kids, like they get to, and then like some of us somewhere in the middle, like we get a little bit of that and a little bit of this. So it's fun to like, yeah, I mean, everybody's all in. I don't know, maybe 2 cabins ago, there was a putt-putt downstairs. Remember, there's 60 people. So, I mean, like there's just multiple floors and we all divided up. Every generation was a part of each team and we had a little 18-hole putt-putt battle. I mean, it's just, gosh, man, priceless. And it's not something that I could imagine that's what, like, marriage would have brought. Like, what a gift. Mm-hmm. So, it's a gift. It's a gift for sure.
How old Abigail's the soccer player, right? Mm-hmm. How old is she?
She's in between Seth and Caleb. She's 20.
Yeah. So I met her. We were at the basketball banquet. I didn't meet her there. I've met her before, but she came up to me at the basketball banquet and was like, "Hey, I really enjoy y'all's podcast." And she had all of the, and this is going to be weird to say, maybe you'll understand. She had the Sarah Salisville trait of like encouragement and when she said it to me, it was so genuine. It like spoke into my soul. So if she's listening to this, I want her to hear that in such a simple moment, she has those traits.
Yeah.
If she looks up to Sarah at all, whatever it is that Sarah has, and people that know Sarah know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She's got it.
Yeah.
She's got it. So yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. She has helped shaped Seth and Caleb and Isaac for sure.
Yeah, and knowing sort of her demeanor and knowing Seth, I bet that's a hoot to have those two.
Oh, it has been so fun for us as parents to know that they've been up at Cookville together. And they both want to be PE teachers, so now they're in the same classes together. So I even got a video, I don't know, maybe this time last year, maybe it was fall. But he had to get up in front of the class and like give a lesson. He was like, "Dad, I want you to see it and give me some feedback." And it's Abigail recording, you know, because they're in the same class. So it's been fun. Yeah, she's a go-getter, man. She's extroverted, and Seth is introverted, and so she's good for him, and he's good for her. Yeah,
very cool. Hey, let's shift gears for just a minute. Now, most of the time, I love doing things on this podcast that are evergreen, meaning we're not giving out dates and times. You could watch this for 20 years, and but I've always wanted to do this, and just about every time I've sort of steered the conversation, I've visited the idea of doing something like this, but I just want to take and look at, like, this podcast is available on July 13th. I want to look at July 13th throughout American history and what's some notable events, some things that happened. Now, my notes are on this iPad, which is currently not in operation, so I've asked you to look some things up. So you want to just share a couple things with us? And
Like, just for fun?
yeah, just for fun.
Just for fun.
Let's just talk about some notable events in American history on July 13th.
Where was I born?
You were born in Ohio.
Yeah. So when
Middletown?
yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Armco, shout out. Steel mill. Square D company. Let's go when settlers started crossing the Appalachian Mountains to settle. First place that actually gets permission from this newly formed U.S. government is the Northwest Ordinance. So when you head over those mountains, you head into, modern day Ohio. And Pennsylvania is one of the 13 states, right? So, think here comes Michigan and Indiana and Illinois. But that's a big deal on July 13th, where people are not only just going to go settle somewhere, but they're going to settle somewhere, and if enough people get there, they're going to become the next state in this newly formed United States. Kind of cool.
So on July 13th, what year?
1787.
1787. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we're not even to a constitution yet. That's 2 more years away.
Yeah.
It's interesting when I teach U.S. history, we talk about wars, and there's pretty much 8 major conflicts that shaped the United States, starting at the Spanish-American War. It's when we become a world power. We start to claim territories for ourselves. And then, we get into the Great War, and then World War II, and then here comes the Forgotten War, Korean War, Vietnam. We're trying to stop the spread of communism right in the midst of the Cold War. You can get into the Gulf War, 9/11 happens, the War on Terror. But in every single one of those armed conflicts, there are plenty of Americans who say, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this now. Let's hit them hard. Let's hit them heavy. And there has also not been a U.S. armed conflict where American citizens have said no. 1863, July 13th, we found that there was a riot in New York City because of this draft of we need more Union soldiers in the midst of this Civil War. And folks are like, not going to go. So it's funny how, whether it be conscientious objectors, where people literally, their conscience objected from them entering into war because they were pacifists, or, they were Quakers, or, they were, you can fill in the blank with all kinds of things, anarchists. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting that when you get into each of these, what is the reason that person became that voice that convinced other people to start some sort of riot that said, no, we ain't going to do what the government tells us to do? Even though we look back this is before we become a world power. This is this is the inevitable conflict that was created decades ago at our birth of how are we going to resolve this issue of slavery, and how are we going to stick together as we continue to grow through these new territories. So July 13th is a little glimpse of that. On the list, you asked me to look up some just fun stuff. The Hollywood sign was put up, but you saw it wasn't Hollywood at the beginning. It was
Hollywood Land.
Yeah, it made for a really long sign.
And it was literally like a real estate development?
Yeah, at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, maybe we've said this before. Do you know how Hollywood became Hollywood?
Nah.
Why is it there that we make movies?
I don't know.
Do you know who owned most of the patents for movie-making devices at the beginning? You know this guy.
Is it Nikola Tesla?
No, but that's a great guess.
Okay, that was a pure guess.
Who Tesla worked for at the very beginning?
I don't know.
Yes, guess the other guy. This guy runs Tesla out of the history books because Tesla starts being this
Henry
thing.
Ford. No, that's a great guess.
No. Was it?
Listen, just tell me.
No.
Yes, get into the story.
No, light bulb.
I'm not guessing anymore.
Light bulb.
Oh, Thomas Edison.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how you got to Tesla before Edison.
I don't either.
So Edison has, this light bulb going on. He's got his electrical grid going on with AC, DC. Tesla will come up with the alternating current. But he also gets into moving pictures, and he owns these patents. And people are making movies on the East Coast, but every time they make a movie, they have to pay royalties to Edison. Now, big-time movie making at the very beginning of the industry is going on in France and Italy. So when they get crushed by the war to end all wars, World War I, movie making becomes even bigger in the United States. And people are kind of exhausted by Edison and what they're relegated to. So they move to the West Coast and to just have that distance. And so Hollywood becomes this place of like, man, I mean, even today, I mean, think about the weather and think about the landscape and think about, you got the coast and the mountains, you got everything in between, and it just begins to grow, and Hollywood becomes this destination to make movies. Yeah, that's a fun story when you get even deeper into that, but it's getting away from this this icon that most folks only know for the light bulb, or not at all, like yourself.
Yeah, well,
yeah, you put your whiny voice on of, I'm not going to take another guess, tell the story, and you knew the guy.
Yeah, but you had to say light bulb. I wonder when they switched from the Hollywood land sign to Hollywood.
I don't remember that piece. I don't remember why. Why'd they take the land off?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What else you got?
Babe Ruth, it's his 700th home run. I mean, that was a seemingly... No one's ever going to beat this.
That's July 13th. What year?
That's going to be in the 30s, 34.
34, July 13th, 34.
Yeah, the end of his career is coming for sure. And then here comes Hank Aaron later on. And, like, man, if you really want to tell that story, you got to tell the story of Josh Gibson. You know that name? The Babe Ruth of the Negro Leagues. And if he was allowed to play in Major League Baseball, could have hit just as many home runs, if not more, than Babe Ruth. So there's another one. You start digging into those stories and just like, man, if people had opportunities like a Satchel Paige, I mean, the way we tell stories of, Sandy Koufax for the old heads to the Nolan Ryans of my age to, the best pitchers of our day. We grew up with, some Roger Clemens and such, but, yeah, it's neat to get into those stories and understand that, man, Jackie Robinson, yes. Hank Aaron even played in the Negro Leagues before he got into the majors. But there were some pretty amazing folks. But
you ever hear the story about the Yankees coming to Chattanooga?
Tell me more.
Well, I don't have a device or anything to clarify this, but you do. If you want to look it up and verify what I'm saying is true, came.
I just want to listen to you and act like it is.
They came to, I believe they came to Chattanooga, and they played the Chattanooga Lookouts in an exhibition game. And that's not the wildest part of the story.
Is this a woman gets on the mound?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you got to give me more.
A woman gets on the mound and does well, strikes out like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, like some of those guys. And I'm going to get names wrong and times wrong, and I have nothing in front of me to draw this from but memory, and I haven't even thought about this story in probably a decade. But yeah, it's from everything I can find at the time that I heard about this is a true story. It'd be pretty cool to know. I think you could easily, just a little Google search, you could probably find a version of that story, and you could probably find the name of the young lass that was on the mound that day. But super cool story if it's true. I hope it's true.
Jackie Mitchell, 17-year-old pitcher for the Chattanooga Lookouts, struck out Babe Ruth. She also struck out Lou Gehrig in the same game. Yeah, somewhere along the way, I've heard the story.
Is that pretty cool? Now, was that in Chattanooga?
She's
Am I
a
right
lefty.
about that?
Nah, it's an exhibition game in Chattanooga.
Huh.
And she was pitching for the Lookouts. Yeah, man.
What year is that?
Where'd you pull that from? 31.
31.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. My next question, and this is just nerd stuff, and this would take a little bit more research. Where were the Lookouts playing in 31? Were they at Ingalls Stadium? Was Ingalls Field even a thing that at that time?
I don't know.
You know where I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
sure.
The old field?
Yeah.
That's a stretch. Because, I mean, they just stopped playing there in the 2000s sometime, I'm pretty sure.
Here's a little fun fact for you. A few days after Mitchell struck out Ruth and Gehrig, baseball commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis voided her contract and declared that women were unfit to play. Why? Why do these things happen? Oh, my word. Jackie Mitchell.
Imagine being a 17-year-old girl in Chattanooga, and you're already just breaking glass everywhere by being on the Chattanooga Lookouts. The little, was it a farm team at that time? Was it a minor league team? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it always has been.
I wonder at that time if it was for like the Reds or something.
I hope so. I loved moving down here because I grew up a Reds fan.
Yeah.
My dad grew up a Reds fan, and coming down when I first got here, it was the Reds AA team.
Zach Pike is listening to this in his truck right now, screaming answers at the radio. Like he knows all this stuff. He's a baseball guy, so he'll fill me in as soon as he hears this on some of that information. Yeah, it's a cool story. Jackie, you said Jackie Mitchell.
Jackie Mitchell, remember that name?
Jackie Mitchell. We got to remember that name. It's pretty easy. Should be an easy name to remember. But yeah, somebody told me that one time. I was probably hauling some prisoners down the interstate as we passed the Lookouts field. Somebody said to me, "Do you know a girl struck out Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig that played for the Lookout?" Oh, shut up. So I started looking up this story, and sure
I
enough,
now have a curiosity question.
yeah.
How much dialogue were you having with prisoners as you were transporting them? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Or are you just talking with your buddy that you're riding with?
I was probably talking with my buddy that I was riding with, but it was very often that I'm talking to prisoners, especially now if I'm driving a 15-passenger van and there's 10 dudes in the back, probably not a whole lot of dialogue going on there because there's just so much, if I got 8 people trying to talk to me, I'm not paying good attention to the road. So, and they can talk to each other, but if it's one person in the back of that car, like it is most of the time, yeah, I talk to those people a lot.
How often is it one person? How often is it 8 people? What was that like?
In the job that I was in, it was most often one person because it's as simple as, Polk County Sheriff's Office calls and says, "Hey, we got Paul Salisbury over here, and you got a warrant for him, and we're done with him."
Why you got to use my name?
Well,
That line is now out there.
it's out there.
Yeah.
That's going to show up on your next background
Transcript.
check. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
YouTube's going to transcript it, put it on the Google. It's going to become your top Google result. Paul Salisbury arrested in Polk County, Tennessee.
No, you Google Paul Salisbury. It's not even me. There's a fellow. This is just for fun story.
Yeah.
Facebook becomes a thing. Get curious about it. You hop on, and I stayed for about 4 months, and then I was gone for pretty much forever. But you connect with people because it's like you can.
Yeah.
And some guy messages me and says, "Hey, my name's Paul Salisbury. So is yours." It's like, man, it is. Who are you? And he's from Malta, New York, and he was the city supervisor. And he passed away just a couple years ago. And I mean, he was a big deal. I want to say decades, but maybe not that long. But for many years, he was the city supervisor there, and just running things in a little town in New York.
Wow.
But I mean, the Salisbury name, you're not going to get much below the Mason-Dixon line. But you get into, my dad's people are from Middletown, New York. Vermont, New Hampshire, and in Canada. Yeah. So it's a French-Canadian name. So it was interesting to come across that guy.
Very cool.
So.
Jackie Mitchell. What else you got, Paul?
Elvis releases his first big hit. Do you know what it was?
This is not the Sun Studio story where he sang to his mother. No.
Not unless he was singing "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog."
You ain't nothing but a hound. Oh.
Followed by "Don't Be Cruel." So, what year are we talking about? Do you know?
Oh, I'm gonna get this so wrong, but I want to guess on this one.
Oh, you want to guess on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
I'm gonna say 1956.
Yeah.
Shut up.
You knew that somewhere in your head. Yeah, it's Elvis, man.
No
you
shot.
know,
It's a pure
there's
guess.
50s Elvis, there's 60s Elvis, there's 70s Elvis.
That's an educated guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're an educated music man.
There you go.
Yeah. So, you been to Graceland?
I have. Took Val there and Kyler.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Y'all have taken the tour.
I think it was his senior year. Maybe his junior year. No, I think it was his senior year because we visited a college that was looking at him to play football while we were on that same trip over at Bethel.
Richard Nixon. Give me 4 things you know about Richard Nixon just for fun.
Oh, gosh.
This guy's one of those presidents. I mean, like, he lives in pop culture because he did so many
Yeah, I know he's probably one of the most impersonated presidents because he has such a unique way that he talks and way that he acts, and he's one of the first presidents. Not one of the first, but like when you look at my lifetime of the presidents that a comedian could just openly make fun of, it was pretty acceptable to tee off on Richard Nixon, I guess, because of some of the things he's the whole Watergate stuff and all of that.
So was that Nixon, or was that comedy has now headed into a new realm?
Well, I mean, sure, comedy headed into. I think comedy's always evolving, but I mean, I just didn't. When I was a kid, I never heard anybody impersonating Gerald Ford or making fun of that guy there wasn't a lot of material there in their eyes, maybe.
He's the guy that fell down the steps. Did you know that?
No.
You ever seen the president who he literally slipped and fell down the steps?
Gerald Ford?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
And ironically enough, he was one of our strongest, most agile as a young athlete.
Football player, wasn't he?
Heck yeah, Michigan national champ.
Yeah.
He was an Eagle Scout. I mean, this guy. I mean, he's a fascinating figure. He's the only president to ever not be elected to the vice presidency or the presidency.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if I just told you 4 things about Richard Nixon. I'd say I got close.
No, you didn't tell me anything about Richard Nixon. 4 things that this guy did as president.
Oh, no, I'm not going. I don't have a clue, man. I wasn't alive. I don't study Richard Nixon's presidency. I know he
But
probably
you're going to know all these things.
probably will.
You will.
Yeah. So go with them.
You.
Go with them, and then I'm going to ask you the 4 levels that is required to justify probable cause in a U.S. court.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you an educated guess, and I'm not going to whine about it.
No, I just did my best to educate. I don't know. You're going to say some things. I'm going to be like, yeah.
He's the only president only president. This is what he's most famous for.
To get ended.
Yeah, I mean, like to resign. Because he certainly would have been impeached, and when impeached, the House and the Senate would have said, "Go home," which other presidents have. The House said, "Go home," and the Senate said, "Nah, you can stick around." Okay, so that's one. Forrest Gump, love that movie, hate that movie, somewhere in between.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah.
He goes to play ping pong. Where?
China.
Yeah. And then the year after, who shows up in China and opens the doors of trade that we are still this whole tariff 2025 conversation we're having is with China because those doors are opened by which president visiting China?
Richard Nixon.
Yeah. And ping pong opens that up. Not Forrest Gump, but the real ping pong team. Yeah. There's some really cool stuff going on there. But this whole Watergate scandal, this goes back quite a few presidents of they record every conversation that happens in the Oval Office. Do you know that?
No.
Or you're not surprised by that? Are you surprised by that?
I'm not surprised by it, no.
So with all that's going on, this goes all the way to the Supreme Court. They say, hey, we need all your tapes. All the tapes from the Oval Office. So he gives some. And they're like, no, we want all of them. So he gives more. And then he gives most. And then he gives all of them except, remember, this is reel-to-reel stuff back in the day. Mm-hmm. There's a missing piece that never makes it. No one's ever found it. And, this is certainly the shoot. It's not the beginning of the end. It's the end of the end where he will eventually just resign. But the revelation of the Nixon White House tapes come out
July 13th.
July 13th, 1973. So as all this starts to unravel, it goes from a conspiracy theory to an actual conspiracy. And there's a big difference between those two things, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And but Nixon, the only one to ever quit the presidency. Yeah, that's a really big deal. And if you keep going back and back, I only really mentioned two things just now. This guy did a lot. Like the EPA, getting us out of Vietnam. He is a fascinating fella that you can put a lot of good and a lot of, oh my word, what was this guy thinking on both sides of that ledger? But fascinated by that guy. Two more. You ready?
Yep.
Trayvon Martin.
Yep.
What were you doing in your policing world? And what year is that? 2013, I think.
2013. Mm-hmm. I was probably fresh out of corrections going into patrol. I think I made that transition in January of 2013.
Okay.
I thought it was 2012 for about 10 years until I dug up my academy certificate the other day, and I was a year off.
So this happens. What do you remember just in that moment? Now, July 13th, if we go back to here, this is when George Zimmerman, jury finds him not guilty. So what actually happens to Trayvon Martin, you got to back up. But what do you remember just on the cop side of things of when things happen nationally, do they come into the, I don't know, the coffee break, the smoke break, the lunchroom, I don't know what to say it, amongst police officers, and you talk about outside occurrences? What's the norm on that?
Yeah,
is there a norm?
Sometimes.
Is this one of those?
It's just like working anywhere else. You're going to have some water cooler talk. You're going to have some that are good at it, some that aren't as good, and some that want to participate in it, some that don't.
Is this one of those that you can remember?
Now, correct me. This is a non-police officer that ends up shooting a young black male. Mm-hmm. Okay.
He's like neighborhood watch.
The biggest thing I remember about it is that this is a guy that we literally, God forgive me, we literally would have probably made fun of this guy for being a wannabe police, but he's not the police. But nationwide, the police come under scrutiny for this shooting. That's what I remember the most about being in uniform and these things happening.
I didn't see that comment coming.
Why?
Oh, because I wasn't
Do you
a police officer
see
at
this
that
as
time.
a police issue?
No, I see it as a young fella who leaves at halftime of the All-Star game to go to the gas station and buy a tea and some Skittles, whatever it was, and he's just trying to get back home.
Yeah, and he's like the best student in his class.
Yeah,
And he's
I see a teenager with a hood on. Oh my word! How did this end up? That's the story that I see.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember all the details. I remember I don't like this situation, and I never appreciated it always feeling like a police issue. Even though I don't think you'll find anybody that says this is a police issue. When someone gets shot, the police, especially by a wannabe police officer, the police come under scrutiny. That's what happens. It's part of it. It's part of the career. They tell you that in the police academy. That's what this is. There's going to be people do things bad, not you, but you're going to be judged by it, and you're going to be talked about because of it. Now, it's one of those situations I do remember where, and I started delving into this just a second ago, and I think I did it too sly. It's one of those situations where they're going to paint this guy to be like now none of this matters, but this is what makes debates. They're going to paint this guy to be like the valedictorian of his class, and he was just visiting his mama to make sure she was okay, and then he was coming home. And when it comes down to, when you really start digging into that, you really don't know what he's doing. Like, we don't know where he was doing, what he was doing, why was he even confronted? Why's the neighborhood watch guy on this guy?
Are you asking me right now?
Yeah, remind me. Because in 2014, I would have been pretty versed in these details, but I'm not now.
I mean, if I recall, he's at his dad's house, and he's just watching the All-Star game, like I said. I mean, like,
in the neighborhood,
I don't think there's one good reason George Zimmerman confronts this kid.
Is his dad's house in the neighborhood where George Zimmerman is the neighborhood watch guy?
I believe so. We need to. I mean, this is over a decade ago.
Yeah.
If we're gonna have any decent conversation, we're gonna need to look up some details.
For sure.
But
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. In the end, I think we have a hard time with Zimmerman getting off on this. But I mean, Trayvon Martin. I mean, I don't know. Does this end up being a George Zimmerman tale versus a dead teenager who can't tell his side of the story? Or is there any witnesses to this inside homes, peeking out windows, at least checking in on the situation? I don't know enough.
I don't
We're in that moment.
I don't either. And we've been to this place in conversations before, and that's often what you'll get from me is I won't say anything. I won't give a take on anything. Hey, I'll give you this take. I'm not coming to George Zimmerman's aid. I'm not doing that. I don't care what facts you give me. So there's your take. But, yeah, as you've seen me do, even in the heat of these debates, I don't know enough, man. There's people,
every time. You say that every time.
There's people
and I
that
appreciate it.
There's people that can debate this. But I have, on a much less extreme scale, worked as a police officer. And I've seen if you start seeing the flow consistently day to day, and this may be a journalism lesson, you witnessed something, you were there, you saw it, and it's not the murder of a young black man, or it's not that extreme daily. It's, whatever. And then you see the account that's given in the newspaper. It's never perfect. Never. And it's often not very good. You find somebody that they get the first take, and now they have tunnel vision, and that's what happened. And everything they find that supports that theory goes in the story. Everything they don't gets put out. Now, there's defenses built into our court system to avoid that. The U.S. Supreme Court made decisions in a case against a guy named Brady to where the prosecutors were presenting evidence that hurt him, but they culled some evidence that would have sort of shone a positive light on him. He gets convicted. The Supreme Court later on decides that you can't do that in the United States. Just because you got your theory and you've got the story, and sometimes it's even what happened, sometimes evidence comes up that doesn't play into your theory or into that story. And if a prosecutor decides not to disclose that because they think it would not hurt the defendant, that's a violation, and it could be fatal to a case.
How far back does that case go that you're mentioning?
I would need to look up a date, but it's going to be somewhere. I'm afraid to even say. I want to put it in the late 60s, but I look at so many of these, and I haven't looked at them in the last few weeks that I'm afraid I would be mixing it up. So I'm just going to say I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the 20th century, for sure. So that's why often in these decisions, and I know people get tired of hearing it, but those people are the people who would quickly join a witch hunt and light torches and go do something irrational because they don't have all the facts. Those are the people that would get frustrated at me, a police officer, for saying, I don't know enough yet. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
The rational thought people that...
You and I have done this in our friendship for the last decade, that when things have popped up. Remember, I mean, from 2015 to 2025, I mean, how many conversations have we had? I just sent you a podcast on George Floyd 5 years later.
Yeah.
We'll bring that up sometime.
Bring it up today.
Of just, Malcolm Gladwell is asking the question in a two-part revisionist history of what we miss. What do we miss? Mm-hmm. I don't want to bring it up today because on our next one, I want to take that theme of what do we miss.
Okay.
And we'll bring up Malcolm Gladwell. We'll bring up George Floyd, but then we'll make it personal. We'll do that thing of we'll talk about them. Mm-hmm. Hey, what they miss, and then we'll talk about things about what we miss.
Sure.
And then maybe do some confession time of what I missed. To be fair to all of our judgments. Because, when you're talking about people can debate this, you've said that numerous times already. Okay, debating, is that like authentic debate, like legit debate, like active listening debate, like clarifying questions debate, or is that just this person talks, that person talks, this person talks, that person talks, and it's not a true volley. It's cutthroat.
Well, the type of the debates that I'm interested in, and it would be with someone like you, because I know you well enough to know that I can absolutely say something that I know you 1,000% do not agree with, and you're not going to freak out and leave the room.
Yeah.
You're going to sit and you're going to swallow it and you're going to ponder it and you're going to think about it, and it might be a month from now and you're going to come back with a response. But the kind of debates that I'm interested in are within those tough issues, because Zimmerman's a tough issue. Floyd's a tough issue. Within those, we find these places to where we are different. Sometimes there's not a black and white, right or wrong. No, I'm not talking about black and white as a race. I'm talking about clear and unclear. Sometimes there's not a clear and unclear right and wrong. And that's where we find where we differ personally. That's what I'm interested in. You know what I mean?
You just want to find out how we differ personally? Or like we're going to debate to find some sort of, I'll say this first, solution, but that speaks to maybe there isn't a solution, or to some sort of resolution to where we can find a common kind of landing strip to where, okay, we're traveling the same direction. This is the same destination. We would love to see reconciliation, but the messy journey to that place, it's going to take us saying some things that, maybe we don't mean just yet, or saying some things that we don't have enough information on, but I'll go ahead and give my opinion. But please, I ask of you, let's not be done with this conversation yet, because if we leave it right there, that's going to be a disservice to both of us.
Yeah.
Because that's what we oftentimes do when we leave the debate, as in the arguing between people, that's usually what happens. Someone will shut down, or someone will walk away, or someone will just start to just go passive aggressive and start to agree, but not agree because they just want to get out of that conversation rather than actually like feel that tension. Because you bring your life experiences, I bring my life experiences. When we talk about things like this, of course I can't relate to being a cop. Shoot, I can't even relate to like holding a gun, let alone being an authority figure where there's a societal expectation that you do what I say. Go back to your scenario from a couple of episodes ago where you had the cops break down my door.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't want to do what they say.
Yeah.
But there was a piece in that Gladwell where they started talking about Derek Chauvin, right? Is that the officer?
Yeah, that's the officer. From
3 years prior when he broke into that other home with the 14-year-old.
Did you go watch that video?
No, I did not.
I did.
I didn't really want to at the moment.
Yeah.
I probably will before you and I meet again.
Yeah.
But like just hearing it, that disturbs me.
That's why I went and watched it.
Of course it is, because you're wired that way to like, that's not the first thing I want to do. I just want to sit with this audio of just, man, this just painted this picture with such a much broader stroke that like, I don't need that visual at the moment, but that's just me. I mean, like I guess you couldn't help yourself,
Yeah, I mean,
but you've seen some stuff. You've seen some stuff I haven't seen.
Yeah.
You've dealt with some stuff that I haven't dealt with.
But that's what's so valuable about, and I keep using the word debate. When it's me and you, I don't feel like it's a debate.
It's just a dialogue.
It's just conversation. But that's what's so valuable is, as this police officer, this young dude who grew into this career, and everything I saw and everything that I believed was right and true was probably taught to me by somebody who was very similarly situated to me. What's valuable to me in these conversations is someone that has a totally different set of experiences and values or ideas. It's valuable for me to see their view. And I believe I have the ability, or I have thus far, to try to slide over into their chair and view it from another angle without adopting, I'm not adopting their beliefs immediately, but it gives me something to digest and to think about and to consider. And I've often found so many angles or ideas that I couldn't have imagined from my place of experience. You understand?
Yep, I do. Another thing that you often say in these conversations, especially the ones that do make it into the teacher workrooms, right? Just wait. You say it a lot. Just wait.
Yeah.
Like especially when there is some sort of emotional flare up. Just wait. And that doesn't mean anger, and it doesn't mean being mean. It just means just wait. We'll get more information. You say that a lot. We'll get more information.
Yeah, and it's the emotions that complicate it a lot of times. Emotions make things complicated, for sure, because I don't think it takes very much education to realize that you don't make decisions at the same clip when you're angry or when you're sad or when you're, name the emotion, than you do when you're at a sitting rate, when you're level, when you're calm.
And when you're listening.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, because all of those attributes allow us to actually process. That's what true listening is. Yeah. It's not just not talking, and it's not just hearing sounds, but it's, man, I'm processing this. I will consider this. And it also allows us to not have to accelerate anything. It actually allows us the ability to break as slowly as we want to get to a pace to where, in all fairness to whoever I'm talking to, or really it's in all fairness to whatever we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And it's usually people from a great distance away. Minneapolis is not near us. Florida is not near us.
That's right. That's why it's easy for me to say just wait.
Yeah. Well, but I would like to say that it's not easy. I think it's probably something you have developed somewhere along the way. Maybe you are wired that way. Maybe you were able to wait like that when you were 12 or 14 or 16. But I know enough about you that maybe not. But I do know this guy the last, 10 years of our life that you have developed a virtue within you to go, not yet. Just wait. We'll see. I don't know yet. And that's why, okay, let's substitute debate for dialogue of we'll return back to each other. And that's the gift we give each other.
For sure.
And that's the gift of friendship, but that's also that gift of that middle ground, not necessarily strangers, but acquaintances, where I believe it moves beyond politeness into respect of we can bring this back up again. We can bring this back up again.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you. I think we need to, you and me personally on this podcast, I think we need to disagree about something. We need to find what that is, and we need to not root it out to fix it, but to find it and to be mindful of it, to identify, why do you think this way or why do I think that way? And I think we need to do it where our audience can hear it because we agree on everything when we got these microphones turned on.
I ain't scared of you.
Because we're nice guys.
No, I don't want to be a nice guy.
No, you don't want to be, but
I was a nice guy for 35 years. In the last 13, I've been trying to be this other thing.
But I know.
I was raised to be nice. Nice? No, I don't want my boys to be nice. I want them to be respectful. I want them to step into tension. I want them to be courageous. I want them to take some risks. I want them to be able to, gosh, that did not go the way that I thought it was going to or the way I wanted to go to and still be okay. I want them to have that kind of strength.
Sure.
And if you're nice, you ain't got those skills. Nice guys don't have those skills, right? Polite guys don't have those skills. Mamas want you to be nice and polite. And sure, dads may too, but nah, mamas and dads and grandparents and teachers and cops and coaches and friends and spouses, every one of us want more out of each other than just to be nice and polite.
Yeah.
Something real, something authentic. But we use those words so often that they lose their meaning. And that authenticity means, yes, take the dang risk in our friendship. Say that thing, but don't leave the room if I go silent or if I go mad. Just trust enough in me that we can navigate this. We've got the skills to navigate it. Mm-hmm. We've got the love and the stick and stayness to navigate it. To me, that's life. That's a full life. I want more of that. I want that for my boys. I want that for you. I want that for your boy. For sure. I want that for our women. I want that for our family and our friends and our colleagues and our administrators at school. And I want that for our kids and their families. And I want that for our community because that's how true community and strong families are built. It's built on the strength of being able to have this kind of dialogue.
Yeah, for sure. You got one more thing on your list?
How are we going to transition out of that, man?
We're just going to hard cut. I love everything you just said, but I don't want you to neglect that last thing on your list. I want to get to it and finish that up. We're still good.
The Redskins changed their name
on July 13th.
Mm-hmm. In the middle of the summer, before a football season was to begin, and they went, we're just going to be the football club. But that story goes all the way back to, go find some newspaper articles back in the 1800s, and if you see Redskins, that is a derogatory term. If you talk to the right folks, that's comparable to the N-word. You talk to other folks, which, it totally relates to what we're saying, who are Native Americans. I went to a Redskin Viking game up in Minnesota one time. I was there for a conference, and there was a protest going on. And I got to that game early because I saw it in the newspaper that morning, and I was there for an hour. and listen to speaker after speaker after speaker who were indigenous folks say this needs to change. And then they did a protest lap around the Metrodome, and I walked with them. The sociologist within me couldn't help it, and I'm just asking folks, tell me more. I happened to get on a plane seated right next to another indigenous person who was also proud to be an American and had fatigues on of the U.S. military. I said, hey, I went to a football game, and they were protesting. She's like, yeah, I heard about that. I was like, tell me your take. She's like, nah, I'm good. Proud to be an American. They can be the Redskins if they want to. And I just went, are you kidding me? And she's like, no. And I was like, huh. And she was like, yeah. And so it was just like, people are going to have different takes. Who are you with at the moment? How are you going to respond to them in the moment? Are you going to try to change people's minds? What is our role to play? Is there even a role? But somewhere along the way, Dan Snyder said, yeah, I'm changing. I'm finally going to do it. And remember the Cleveland Indians?
Well, look at the climate that he was living. He's living in cancel culture where you can't.
In D.C.
You can't. I mean, you got Lady A. Now you have the chicks. Everybody's getting canceled here. And I mean, there's even a time where in Hollywood, you can't ask an actress on a date. They'll cancel you, buddy. Now, were there some things that probably happened there that were crap to women? Probably. But were some people really raked over the coals that didn't do anything? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I can't. The timing of it hurts it for me personally. Kills it for me because of when it happened, which now I have to believe that's why it happened.
Yeah, but okay, Cleveland does that to their baseball team. They're not in D.C.
Yeah, same.
So you don't like it at all?
You just added Cleveland to the list of the people who had to fold because of...
Yeah, but when we talk about Washington, we're talking about D.C. We're talking about a particular, like, and there's just a vibe in this city. Cleveland has a totally different vibe than D.C. does.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like I made a draw to where it was.
Oh, that was the first thing I thought that you were saying because you went from D.C. to Hollywood.
No, timing. The timing of it.
Okay.
That post George Floyd era into, we're in COVID. Everybody's freaking getting canceled for everything. You can't say anything.
It was July 13th, 2020.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm tracking with you.
It's right in the middle of cancel
timing.
culture.
Yeah.
It's why it gets done.
Yeah, but like St.
St.
John's went from the Red Men to the Red Storm, at some point, but that was before 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool.
Do you like the name changes? You not like the name changes? Or you just don't like the timing of this specific Washington team doing that?
I don't like that era of cancel culture. When I say that, you're familiar with the times that I'm talking about?
Well, just tell me what you're thinking.
We're all at home in COVID. They've shut down the world, and we don't have anything to do but get on the internet and bitch at each other.
Yeah, I'm tracking.
And this is what starts cancel culture. And
Sure.
in the world of where we're only on the internet, the people that could really convince you that are a majority are those Cheeto-eating basement robbers that are living with their parents at 40 years old. And God forgive me for saying that, but
You think those are the only ones that are engaged in cancel culture?
no, I think they tricked us into thinking that there was really a majority that believed these things should happen. And I think in the real world, there's not.
So just a little tidbit. St. John's changed their name in 1994. I was in high school. You were in like 5th grade.
That's cool.
But that goes all the way back to... No, I'm tracking. I interrupted you on that one.
It's okay.
Yeah, I get it. That's going to take us deeper into when I come back to hear you say people are in their basement eating Cheetos. But I mean, influencers in this virtual world where people don't, and I mean, my dad and I were just having this conversation. You and I have this conversation all the time. You can say things on social media that not a chance in the world you're going to say that to someone's face. You don't have the intestinal fortitude to say such a thing to someone's face, but you'll say it to some faceless screen, right?
Sure.
And so to me, I hear you. Cancel culture, still a thing, still a possibility for folks. But like that's why I love living in community. That's why that's why I love living my life face to face. I guess the irony is that we're recording this conversation right now to throw up in this virtual universe that other people could listen to and complain about if they want to, or agree with what they want to, and we may never ever meet them. But I listen to enough podcasts. I consider it a gift when I can hear someone that I'll never ever meet, most likely. Yeah. So it just brings us back. There's that tension of how we're going to navigate it, how we're going to communicate through it.
Yeah.
And what we're going to say. What's the vibe we're going to bring? We can pick sides and we can argue about it, or we can look at sides and go, and for me, this is my life and my curious mind of like, there's got to be another side. Where's that other side? And you help me get to that place, especially in areas beyond my own expertise, where the things that make national, international headlines of just, when you say just wait, I take that as, I need that to fill that void within me that is so hungry for more of the story.
Well, and half of that is just wait, ... until we get some other sources than CNN, Fox News, CBS, MSNBC, these major news outlets that are pure garbage.
Well, it's entertainment industry. Like I don't even have to call them garbage anymore. It's just that's what it is, an entertainment business.
I'm just waiting on the sources that are going to be in the case file, because as the weeks pass, those things are made public.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we can find them on the World Wide Web.
We can find them on the World Wide Web.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. But
available.
I can get that without George Stephanopoulos' spin on it, or Bill O'Reilly's spin, or I'm not interested in those people's agenda or what they want me to think. And that's probably my biggest thing. And that's why when you start talking about things that happened, between 2020 and 2022, probably in that cancel culture era, I'm going to be more dismissive than I usually am, because
you riled up a little bit, man. I like that.
The only information that's getting, it's because there were things that were made during that time that were believed to be of, I don't know how to put what I'm saying.
They hold very little value today.
They hold so little.
They do not age very well.
That's right. They hold so little value. They don't age well. And this is a time where people are being arrested for going and opening their business. So I'm going to be very, you want to find the place where I will disagree with somebody? You'll find it pretty quick right there, because I'm going to be way more dismissive than I usually am, because I've never in my life seen us come closer to a totalitarian freaking situation than I have with the COVID flu.
How about when those churches opened up and people got sick and people died? That's our town.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were okay with those churches opening up?
Absolutely. This is the United States of America. Nobody went to those people's homes and put them at gunpoint and walked them into that church.
No. Oh, my word. So if we talk about our rights, we'd have to talk about our personal rights, right? Okay, I get that. But there's also, that's a social contract. The Constitution is a social contract, which means there's community responsibilities. And it's not just what I want to do, but it's what's best for us. And that's what we've been navigating for. It's going to be 250 years next year, right? So this democracy says, yes, you have these freedoms, but democracy also brings you back to, it's a representative democracy. It's a republic. We're going to do this together. And so, yeah, people have their personal choices, but then, I mean, we got to do some things for each other. And some of those things we have to do collectively, and we have to make those decisions, I believe, together. I don't think those churches should have been open. Those churches don't even think they should have opened now that they look back with some hindsight.
So what do you do to stop a church from opening?
I mean, you don't. I mean, are you talking about it like enforcement if they do?
Yeah. What laws do you stand on?
Well, nobody enforced that. I mean, those people went, and there was a consequence to it that could have been avoided.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's still a personal choice that people made, and it was a collective choice of that congregation. And I bet there's some people that regret that. And there were people in some elected positions that said, nah, we're not going to do that. Now, we live in a state and even in a county where, like, when it comes to schools, what are we going to do with our schools? Well, we went to school, right? That fall came around.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did. And, I mean, I don't have answers. I'm not an elected official, and I don't want to.
With COVID still in pandemic levels, you're glad we did?
I mean, it worked out, right? Didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I can think of one fellow right now that I'll not name the name, but he's gone, close to our family. And we look at what was happening and what was spreading. My man got sick and died. And in any other context beyond this pandemic going on, I mean, I guess we could have said that this was just kind of a one-off, but how he died, the way he died, what he died of, and dying so young, I mean, there were other people during this time frame that being exposed to what he was exposed to also passed away. That seemed avoidable, but was it? So it's probably a bit of a ramble because I don't know if this is us trying to disagree on something organically.
We're disagreeing on something, but
organically. But I mean, there's no resolution to this. We're not going to get a redo on this.
No.
But something like this most likely will happen again. But I think I'm sitting across the table from you, and you just called that the COVID flu.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So
it replaced influenza for a couple of years. Yeah.
But not it's not a pandemic. It wasn't something that we should have been concerned. We shouldn't have changed a thing.
I won't say that. That won't be my take. But should we have did what we did in hindsight? Absolutely not. No.
What'd we do?
We shut down the whole world. We shut down the whole world.
What was the other option? Just keep the whole world open and go business as usual?
Yeah, that's right. I think so.
How would you explain all of those seeming spikes in death? We're going to have to get in some stats.
Yeah, we're going to have
now we're going to have to do our work if we're going to have this conversation. We can't just...
Why? Why can't two friends just disagree and
because I don't I would need more information.
And go, I don't have that information.
I used to love to argue. I used to. I'd throw the gauntlet down right now and just look you square in the eye and just...
You would do that today?
Nah. No, I hate doing that. It's not fun. It's not productive. And it's not good for my heart. I don't like it anymore. Yeah. I'll say it this way. I get bored real quick.
Yeah, but in the world of arguers, this is my vision. You can respond to this. Yeah. In the world of arguers, I'm a 2. You're like a 7.
I don't know what that means.
You're way more likely to argue than I. Just in daily, you agree with that? Or
yeah,
no?
But you argue with your face. I see you over there. I see you in that room. See how you're laughing right now? Yes. I see you're saying plenty with your face. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Does that tell on me all the time?
Yeah. I mean, me, because I know you, Valerie, for sure. Yeah, you've got a fistful of folks who see that over there, and most probably don't. That's just Matt. He's just quiet. No, he's arguing with you right now. If you ask him right now what he thinks, he'll be like, "Oh, it don't matter to me."
But I don't think it's worth saying, or I would say it.
Exactly. Why aren't you saying it? Why isn't it worth it?
I'm not an arguer.
Oh, boo. I mean, educated people are arguers if we define it as, hey, I've got something to say. I've got something to contribute.
That hill worth dying for sure. Is COVID 5 years later one of them? Absolutely not.
I mean, no, for me either. I mean, like, I just paused just now not to think about COVID, but just to think about what hill am I going to die on? I mean, like, for an argument's sake, I mean, I got nothing off the top of my head. Yeah. Because, I mean, even if we moved into, just even to a spiritual realm and beliefs, and I'm going to land on, there are so many things I don't know that I can't wait to discover. And sometimes you discover that in dialogue. Sometimes you discover that in a deep dive research. Sometimes you just discover it through life just smacking you right in the face. And now you're aware of something. Like, I'm open to that. I'm alive to that. So that's why I get bored. Bored is definitely the best word. And I don't get bored easily.
Yeah.
But I get bored with arguing because, like, we ain't really saying nothing. We're just giving our opinion.
Yeah, no. To close this up, in the same line of ideas, during that time, this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, Epstein didn't kill himself. You remember those headlines?
Yeah.
Raj Patel has kind of ran that down, right?
No, why would I know that?
And they're coming out and saying this week that Jeffrey Epstein absolutely killed himself. And it's almost impossible that he didn't. So you're trying to kill it, which we knew was coming. I say we, if you keep up with like the Joe Rogans of the world. He interviewed Raj Patel 2 or 3 weeks ago and was trying to get him to divulge information. And he was like, look, I'm not going to make any statements on here, but I've seen video. Like not video of him killing himself, but enough video that the idea of a team coming in and killing him would be almost 100% impossible. 99.99999.
Are you listening to Joe Rogan a lot?
I have in the last week or two.
So before the last week or two, you haven't been?
On and off.
Okay.
I don't listen to Joe Rogan just to listen to Joe Rogan. I listen to Joe Rogan when I see that he has a guest that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
You listen to that guy ever?
Just when something's sent to me, usually. Because, he's going for quite a few hours.
It's like Raj Patel, the director of the FBI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to listen to 3 hours of him talking without anybody spinning what he's saying. I get it pretty raw from him, And it's interesting to hear. If you don't listen to Joe Rogan, I would encourage somebody to listen to episodes like that. They're super interesting. When what kind of got me on the Joe Rogan kick for the last week or two was that Ken Burns interview, and I sent that to you. I know you didn't listen to it, but it's
you didn't even ask me.
No, because I know you.
I just listened to my first 5-hour podcast.
How long did it take you?
Days.
Yeah,
but I like it.
That's the way Joe Rogan goes.
Yeah,
I don't listen to Joe Rogan.
Keep going, but I'm going to because Ken Burns is my guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
so
gonna get to it.
To listen to Ken Burns tell his whole process, his whole approach to
I can't wait.
Not only literature and storytelling, but journalism and just he's a freak of nature.
Yes, he is.
He could have made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and it doesn't appear that he's done that.
It doesn't, does it?
No, because he, everything he's got is on like PBS. And he had to do that in order to make the quality, to get the investors to make films that he wanted to get. He kind of had to open those gates for it to be educational. So he had to sort of balance money, quality, I can't just.
Try not to tell me too much so I can enjoy this.
Yeah. No, you'll enjoy it either way. But yeah. Anyways, so we caught up. We talked about your family reunion, your dog. We've talked about notable events on July 13th, and somehow we ended up on COVID-19. But with that, we're approaching an hour and a half, so we've got to push on. You got anything you want to leave us with before we move on?
I don't, buddy. This is fun, though. We haven't done this in a while, so I appreciate it.
That was cool. Well, thank you for listening. Remember to like and share and engage with all our content as much as you can. We appreciate every time you do that. Till next time.